Welcome to Life in Calgary, Alberta. I'm Patrick Murray. Today we're going to talk about the latest and greatest real estate stats as of the end of July 2025. So we're into August now. So these are the latest and greatest month-end stats to tell us where the City of Calgary residential market is going. But before we do that, if this is your first time in this channel and you want to know everything there is about what it's like to eat, sleep, breathe, live, and play in Calgary, Alberta, then please just hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Now, I've lived in several major centers on my adult life, but I settled in Calgary way back in 2001. And not only that, I've been a residential realtor here since 2010. And all this means I have some specialized knowledge about the City of Calgary and the surrounding bedroom communities. So if you are considering a move to the City of Calgary or one of these bedroom communities, or you're considering selling your home, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's talk about the latest real estate stats for the City of Calgary right after this. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining me. Let's take a look at what's going on in the City of Calgary real estate market. That's the residential market, and we're going to be looking at the detached sector, semi-detached sector, the row housing and apartment sector of the market as of the end of July 2025. So, of course, we're in August right now. We don't have the end of August stats. So this is the latest and greatest stuff we have to tell us where the market is at and what is trending. So as I always like to do, I like to let everybody know we're looking at something called benchmark pricing, which is much more stable as opposed to looking at median or average pricing, where the prices can be skewed month to month by, for example, an unusual amount of higher price sales in a month, or perhaps the reverse, an unusual amount of lower price sales in a month. So that can skew the sales data month to month. So we're looking at benchmark pricing, and that takes into account what the standard home is like in each neighborhood and what it would sell for. And it does it for each product type. It puts it together for each community, each sector of the city, and then puts it together for the entire city. So that's what we're looking at. And let's jump into things right now. So first and foremost, we're going to look at these dials at the top here, and you're going to see that everything is looking like it's into that little gray sector, that balanced market, or even edging into that buyer's market territory. Yes, we are now there. And we can probably thank Mr. Trump to the south for creating so much uncertainty in the market. And that's really what this is all about right now. People are doing the old wait and see to see how it's going to affect them, to see if they're going to have the purchasing dollars to move forward with what they need to do. And so there's a lot of buyers on the sidelines right now, and also waiting for potential rate reductions. And I have to say, rates are actually pretty darn good right now. So even though the Bank of Canada didn't cut rates, are they going to cut again? There's a rumor they might cut rates one more time in 2025. However, that's not a given. So, who knows? If inflation continues to trend up, we might see that prices, that rates will start to go up if the Bank of Canada does not lower the rates and goes the opposite way. So first off, let's look at the detached sector of the market. We can see the listing absorption rate here sitting at 33%, and anything between 30 and 50% is a balanced market. Anything below 30% is buyer's market, and anything above is a seller's market. And if you've been paying attention, we've been in a very hot seller's market for several years now. And now we've been back into balanced territory, which is a much more stable type of market. We like that because buyers and sellers are both making prudent decisions. And so we're looking at that listing absorption rate again of 33%. And what that means, if you drop down to the very bottom here, you're going to see the active and sold listings. There were 3,078 active listings for sale in July, with 1,031 of them, or 33% of them, being sold. And that gives us that listing absorption rate. So that's what we're seeing there. And we'll drop down to the benchmark pricing, and you can see it's $761,800. Now, month to month, that's down very slightly from last month at 0.33%. From June. Year to year is down 0.78% from July of 2024, so a year ago. And what does this tell us? Well, it's not a correction, is what that means. I mean, we're not seeing these huge jumps in price reduction. We're simply in a reset, is what I would say. It's reacting to what's going on in the market because we do have a lot more product hitting the market right now, and sales are slowing. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means opportunity for buyers, and sellers need to be a little more prudent on their pricing, maybe not reach for the stars, and to create a good plan with their agents moving forward. Now we'll look at the semi-detached sector, and you can see that listing absorption rate very close to the detached sector, sitting at 34%. And that's because, jumping down to the bottom, in July, there were 549 actives for sale with just 187 of them, or 87 of them, or 34% of them selling, hence that 34%. Now, this has been a bit of an outlier in the market because this sector of the market has actually been trending upwards for the last several months. So prices here, the benchmark price now sitting at $697,500 for a semi-detached home in the city of Calgary. Month over month, that's up just a little bit at 0.16% from last month, year over year up 1.4% from July of 2024. So that's a little bit interesting. Now, that's the only sector that's actually trending upwards. We're going to move over to the row housing, and row housing means townhomes, if you will. And you can see the benchmark, pardon me, before we get into benchmark price, the listing absorption rate here is 31%. So just barely into balanced territory. And that's because, again, jumping down to the bottom, there were 1,193 active properties for sale in this sector of the market last month, with 373 of them, or 31% of them, selling last month, hence that 31%. The benchmark price here is sitting at $446,200. That's down month to month by nearly 1% at 0.91% from last month, year over year down 3.88% from July of 2024. Now, we are seeing a lot more product going on in the market, in this sector of the market in particular, because of builders are building these, and we have people selling them, of course. So we have the resale and the new product competing with one another, and there's a lot more product hitting the market. So not only are builders building out in the outskirts of town in these newer communities, but even in the inner city where I live, we see a lot of these corner lots, these older homes being torn down, with townhome projects being built. So in about a 4-block radius, there's 5 projects in my neighborhood, and that's 21 new townhouses going up in my neighborhood, where there were previously 4 or 5 houses before. So that's a lot more people coming to the community. That's a lot more competition that's going to be happening in the marketplace for this sector of the market. So that certainly affects things as well. And now we're going to pop over to that apartment condominium sector of the market. And you can see that listing absorption rate is just at 24%, and that is buyer's market territory. And that's because last month there were 2,097 actives for sale, with 508 of them, or 24% of them, being sold last month. And that's a real hit to the market, because we are seeing a lot of people put these on for sale. There are a lot of investors that hold condominiums, and the rental market is getting soft. So it's not unusual when the rental market gets soft. We see prices softening in this sector of the market. And we see renters, instead of maybe renting, looking at potentially purchasing as well. So are they going to purchase, or are they going to rent a property? It depends on their individual situation. But we also see a lot of these properties being built as well. So again, there's competition between the resale and the new sector of the market. Now, the benchmark price here sitting at $329,600 for an apartment condominium. Yes, that takes into account all sectors of the market, from bachelor suites to 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, so on and so forth. Month over month, this is down 1.17% from last month, or June of 2025. Year over year, though, we're down nearly 5% at 4.82% from July of 2024. So it's a different tale going on from each sector of the market as to what's happening. You can see that the detached and semi-detached sectors in the market, while we're getting a lot more supply, and yes, we are into balanced market territory, edging towards that buyer's market, prices are holding quite steadily. And then in the row houses or the apartment condo sector of the market, you can see that we're trending downwards and getting into that low balance, into that buyer's market territory with a lot more product and a lesser listing absorption rate going on. And what does this mean? Well, if you're a buyer or know somebody that is a buyer, there's certainly opportunity in the market right now. If you're a seller, again, you just need to be prudent about what you're doing. Now, I want to preface all of this data by saying it differs from certain sectors of the city. So one neighborhood will be different from another neighborhood. And certainly in the row and apartment sectors, and well, in all sectors, we're seeing the biggest softening in prices going on in that northeast sector of the market. Um, so, depending where you are, prices are going to be a bit different. And if you want some more information, if you want to get a clearer picture as to what you should be doing in the market, or so you have all the data, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to chat with you about your individual situation, pull up some sales statistics for your neighborhood so that you can have a clear picture as to what's going on and to help you move forward, whether you're selling your property or you're going to purchase a property. I'm always here to help.
As I said earlier, if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary or one of the bedroom communities, or you're considering selling your home, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you so you can live your life in Calgary, Alberta.